Another wave crashes down. Found alone, we were always meant to make it.
This is Simon from Shocks, catching up with Brock Lindow from Crazyfists. How you doing?
Excellent, doing good.
Welcome back to the UK.
Thanks.
We're enjoying having you back. How's the tour been treating you so far?
Yeah, the tour's been great. I think we were about 9 shows in, or 8 shows. You know, it's England, so it's always good, you know, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, Bristol last night is holding the bar right now pretty high. They tore the walls down of that place. It was killer. So London tonight, I'm sure it'll be as good as always. So looking forward to it.
Cool. And obviously, this isn't the first time you guys have toured with Devildriver. What is it about touring with those guys that you enjoy?
Well, I think just in general, you know, when you tour with your friends, it makes it much more pleasurable, you know what I mean? Devildriver, just been great friends for years and years. We have a lot of things in common as far as, you know, drinking with the boys and having good camaraderie on the tour. It's not, there's no rules really where, you know, certain bands are too big for the other bands or whatever. There's none of that, you know, guys are welcome in our dressing room. We're welcoming theirs, very relaxed vibe, and that's, you know, as the years go on, I'm only interested in that, you know what I mean? Unless I'm going out with Metallica, I'm not really interested in people trying to be rock stars, you know what I mean? So, I'd rather be with bands that I'm friends with, and even though, you know, we're not that like-minded musically, we're both playing heavy music to an extent. They're heavier, they're more metal. I think it also is cool to be on a tour with bands that have a, you know, diverse package. So not all the bands are the same, and I'm interested in those things. So that's always fun for me. Also with the Devildriver guys, I think we're both offering something a little different.
Been putting any pranks on them on this tour?
Nah, it's too early. You know, that's usually the last day of tour. You get up to some silly antics and try and, you know, outdo one another, pranks, but we'll worry about that in about 3 weeks.
And obviously you guys have a new album, Collisions and Castaways, out. It came out in July. How have you felt that it's been received so far?
Well, now that it's been out for a while, and this is our first time coming, we did the festivals this summer, and the record wasn't out yet, I don't believe. So we played a couple of new songs, and you know, that always goes over like a ton of bricks because nobody knows it. And, so now that it's out, it's been nice to be doing these clubs and seeing kids, you know, mouthing the words, and so I think it's being received fairly well. You know, I don't really pay attention to the sale part of it. It always kind of does what they do. We kind of just stay slowly climbing. You know, each time it's not like we skyrocket one way or the other on any of the albums. So I haven't really noticed that there's, you know, that much difference in it as far as like fans picking it up or anything, but at the live show it seems like it's going over great.
And obviously, was it a hard album for you guys to write when you sat down to write it this time?
Well, no, I mean, I think there's a challenge every time, but you know, as the years go on, we're trying to, you know, create relevant music, obviously, for ourselves and for the interested listeners. So just trying not to repeat yourself as the years go on is a difficult thing, I think. And trying to reinvent yourself is another difficult thing. So without doing too much of either of them, I think we just kind of have managed to do something a little different on each album, which is something at the end of the day I'm proud of. But it wasn't any harder or easier than the other ones. It's just kind of the normal process, I think.
And one of the things that came about with the release of the album was obviously you guys came back to Roadrunner Records. And how did that sort of come about, that you guys were going to re-sign with Roadrunner?
Well, when we got off Roadrunner in the States, we went to Ferret Music, and we were thrilled to go there. And at the time, all the bands that were on Ferret were also on Roadrunner over here. Well, as soon as we signed, they became worldwide.
Yeah. And
they wouldn't do the two-part deal with us, so we had to go with Ferret, and it was really difficult to leave Roadrunner here. As you know, everybody talks about it, they're the best. You know, they treat their bands the best, and they're very dear to us. Anyway, the year went on, and Ferret decided to not be worldwide after that, thankfully, and they said we could go anywhere we wanted, and obviously we wanted to come back here, so I don't know who made the call, but we were grateful to be taken back.
Was it one of those things, kind of like going back to a relationship, where was it a bit weird, was it starting over, or were you kind of like picking up where you left off?
No, it wasn't weird at all. Like, as soon as the deal was done, I mean, I was emailing with the girls and Mark Palmer, everybody was ecstatic on each side. So, you know, like I said, we're longtime friends, and it just picked up where it left off.
And obviously you guys are five albums into your career now, you've had a slight lineup change, you're back with Roadrunner. Does it feel like a new beginning for 36 Crazyfists?
Not really. On the Roadrunners things, yes, I felt like the record would get its due shot. Roadrunner will work the record the way they do. You'll get all the promotion. I mean, I think on the last album, European press, I might have done a handful, maybe 10 interviews, the entire last record, which was totally unheard of for us, because on the years of being a Roadrunner, the girls make sure you have plenty of press, you know. Yeah. Today's full. And so that part of it, it feels great to have that again. You know, I know that Roadrunner's looking out for the band and making sure that we're in the magazines and things of that nature. But as far as like a new start, it feels like we're getting older and older as we get on, and this is the 17th year of the band come December, and feels like old hat. But I mean that in a great way. I feel very grateful that we still are working, grateful that we're still being able to come over here, and you know, we're finishing the year over in Europe, which is the best thing for band morale for us. You know, it's just you feel received very well over here. You know, you feel like, oh, this is why I do this. You know, last night in Bristol, absolutely insane. I got off the stage and I was like, man, this is the best thing in the world. There's nothing better than this. I barely even sang last night. I just had the mic up, whole crowd singing the whole night, and I'm like, that is better than sex. That is better than anything I've ever, except for, you know, I have a little girl, and when she was born, that was one of the greatest feelings ever of my life, if not the greatest. That damn band thing last night, that was damn close to it, you know. So, like I said, coming over here, it makes you feel pretty good.
That was one of the things I noticed when I saw you guys at Download back in the summer. You seemed like really revitalised. You had the bigger smile on your face, and you just seemed like, you know, you really just wanted to be there.
If you're not smiling on that stage, I mean, you are in the wrong biz. That's exactly what dreams are made of. You know, you got 80,000 people in front of you, and you say, put your horns in the air, and everybody does it. I mean, that's what the dream was about. So, yeah, I mean, it's wonderful over here, and I've always been stoked about it.
One question I wanted to ask you, and this is just the fan in me kind of asking you, if somebody said to you, you know, like 36 Crazyfists is over, it's done, pick one song that you feel best represents 36 Crazyfists as a band and represents your place in the band, what song would you pick?
Wow. Huh. Well, man, that's difficult. Very difficult. You know, I don't know if it like represents the band that well, but you know, it seems like Slit Wrist Theory is the song that most of the kids around here grew up on and know. If there's any song, if you haven't heard of our band, maybe you've heard that song, you know. So as much as I hate playing it, you know, I've played it 9 zillion times, I don't hate playing it over here as much, but in the States it's kind of irrelevant to play it. It didn't make an impact there like it did here. Well, I don't know if it did here either, but you know, I go into a club sometimes here and I hear it. So to me, that's something. And I guess, you know, some kids really love that song, and I'd have to say that one's kind of attached to us forever.
I think Left Hand Charity has got to be my favourite song.
Ah, cool. Yeah.
So I listened to Bitterness the Star, and it's a really angry album all the way through. You get to that song, and you just kind of stop and go, oh my god, and it just represents that whole other side that you guys have. Cool.
You know, I haven't listened to the damn record in years, it seems like, so I even forgot about that track, but yeah, that's cool.
It's probably my favourite album by you guys.
Yeah.
It's the one that I love listening to the most.
Cool. Yeah, I know a lot of kids around here say that. Not that you're a kid, but I've heard that before over here.
And so what's next for you guys? What's the next year sort of planned out for 36 Crazyfists?
Yeah, well, we end on December 5th here in Europe, and go home for the holidays. Have January off, and then February we go to Australia and South America, Pacific Rim, possibly coming back up to Europe before the summer. We probably won't do the festivals because, you know, we did them last summer and they don't usually let you do them twice in a row.
Yeah.
At least not the downloads and Rock am Ring, Rock am Park, those ones. But we've never done Leeds and Reading. I've always wanted to, so we'll try and submit as much as we can. We're trying to get back on the Mayhem Festival in the States, which is the greatest thing going on in the States these days as far as the rock community. So we'll be busy, you know. In the summer the record will be out for a year. We usually tour for a year and a half on each album, so plenty more touring, I guess, you know. Just try to stay tunnel visioned and not worry about too much up here, you know. Just kind of get on autopilot and not think about time too much, because if you do, it just gets really slow.
It was funny that you mentioned the Mayhem Festival, because that was one of the things that a lot of bands mention. When they come over here, they always say that there's a lot more going on over here than there is in America. Almost like America doesn't get it, doesn't really know what to do with its bands and its touring packages.
Yeah, well, you know, for some bands, you know, it's great for them, and some bands it's not. We're one of those bands that have grinded it out forever and never really gotten much bigger in the States. I don't know the real reason for it, but I know that as far as the festivals and stuff, I mean, you guys, that's part of the culture over here in Europe. It's just an amazing thing. I tell my friends all the time that, like, you got to check out these festivals someday in your life. You got to come over and see this stuff. You know, we have Lollapalooza. That was like our first thing we had, or Monsters of Rock, whatever. But nothing was like you guys have every summer, where kids are just saving their money, waiting for it, waiting for the bands to get announced. So Mayhem is the closest thing to that. And we were on the very first one, and it was amazing. It was a lot of fun, and so I would love to get it on that again, because it didn't really help the band that much, but it didn't hurt the band, and another year on it would be great for us. So I would like to see our band get on that.
Have you got any plans for a new record yet?
Nah, you know, like, we put out a record every 2 years, and that'll be, you know, or put out a record every 2 years, tour for a year and a half, and right, it's kind of been the ongoing thing. So I mean, as soon as the touring cycle's done, we'll get back to writing, you know, and we usually write for about 4 months, and we're done with it all in 7 months, recorded everything, and then have it come out and start it all over again.
And in closing, do you have a message for any places Crazyfists fans out there that are going to be watching this?
My message is, don't do drugs, mind your parents, behave in school, and buy our records. Thanks a lot.
And for anyone else on the rest of the tour, try and outdo Bristol.
Yeah, outdo Bristol if you can, because they were great.
Cool, thank you very much, man.
Yeah.
Another year comes crashing down with all the waiting of the sound, where the water